I have just finished my 20th year working at the radio station. I always had the biggest dreams. Thank you. When I was a kid, my first inclination of radio was my parents bought a 1971 Fisher FM stereo, which this thing had so many watts behind it that when you put a record on or you listen to the radio, that when you turned it up to 2, the neighbors were complaining. And so I always kept at least 6 or 7. Excuse me. Right then there was no AM on this radio. It was just for the brand new FM radio that just came about in 1971. So me listening to the disc jockeys back in 1971, I knew, wow, this is something I might like to do someday. So I would sit at home and emulate the disc jockeys that were on the air at that time. But also with the AM stations that I grew up on with, I remember all the music and all the changes in the era and just how much fun it was. If you want a job that you could wake up in the morning and not go, oh geez, I gotta go to work today. How would you like a job you wake up and you go, damn, I gotta go to work. And plus, they pay you for it. What other job can you think of that would give you that opportunity to do something you love? If you ever found something that you love, you're halfway there. The only other job that, I had a couple of jobs before radio. One, fast food. That didn't last too long. There was a company called Hardee's, if you remember. I worked at Hardee's at Shaner, I think Shaner and 11 or 12 mile. And again, in high school, looking for that first job, I decided to be a short order cook. Wasn't short order too long because I don't know if you can get a zoom on my hand. Anybody can get a zoom on my hand? This hand right here, if you zoom in close enough, you could see some markings right here. That's from a tomato slicer. I had cut off my tendons in a tomato slicing machine, which ended my fast food career. But I got a lot of French fries. So I knew it right back then that these kind of jobs just wasn't for me. My friend also suggested, before I got into radio, hey, how about a factory job? Well, there was a factory off of Groesbeck and 13 Mile called Blue Water Fabricating back then. My job would be grinding metal for 10 hours a day. And they made parts for all sorts of the auto industry. I did it one day, and I quit because it was just too much. Grinding, I got home from work, from grinding 10 hours a day, I couldn't see because of the blinding glare and the sparks. And my feet hurt because you're really not supposed to wear tennis shoes, but I always live in Converse, so. I did it one day, and I just couldn't do it. And I knew that radio would have been the life for me. Now, the cool thing about radio, a lot of people ask, is some of the unique people that you have met in radio. I've met all sorts of rock stars, from good ones to bad ones. One of the memorable ones was David Lee Roth from Van Halen. It was back when he was doing his solo gigs. David was very unique because he had a memory that I wouldn't see him for 5, 6 years, and he would immediately pick up on the conversation that we had left off with, which was amazing. Another one was David Grohl from the Foo Fighters. I was at a radio promotion over in Ireland where you didn't know who the band was until they went on stage. So it kept everybody guessing, even us. So the radio promotion was called a blind date. So you took a bunch of radio winners to a country, this one was in Ireland, and again, you did not know who the band was until they went on stage. Well, I'm up at the soundboard getting ready for the show and watching sound check, and a tap comes on my shoulder. He goes, hey, do you work at WRIF? And I turn around, what do you know? It's Dave Grohl. Dave Grohl from the Foo Fighters. And this was very early in the Foo Fighters' career. And Dave asked me, hey, do you work at RIF? I go, yes. And I go, you're Dave Grohl. He goes, do you know who the band is? I said, no, it's a complete secret, but I think I know. It's the Foo Fighters, right? He goes, no, it's not. But I'm dating the bass player. And I went, And then he leaned in and said, the bass player is a girl. I said, oh, okay, great. Subsequently, that blind date concert was the Smashing Pumpkins. You did not know who the band was until they went on stage. And that was some of the unique perks you get in radio also. There were other concerts that I had went to. I had went to a concert in Chicago at the Attic Theater. You had no idea who the band was until they went on stage. Same concept. This time, the Chemical Brothers opened up the show, which was really unique, different style of music. And then the curtain came down and this big vamp of orchestration went up. And who walks out but somebody who just said, I'm never playing music again. I'll never play the old hits. You will never see me again. But he had said that quite many times before. But standing right, I was about 10 feet from the stage, and who walks out to the spotlight but David Bowie? How cool is that? You go to Chicago, then all of a sudden, David Bowie walks out on the stage. And what he did that night is he played every hit imaginable. Played for 2.5 hours. So again, with this job, there's so many perks. You get to meet and work with some of the greatest people. Now, it's not just here. You can go anywhere you want if you want a job like this. There's all sorts of stations all over the country, from the urban stations and also the just different styles of music that they have down in Florida. You've got the West Coast that is just endless amounts of talent, as well as the East Coast. And heck, your hometown in Michigan is also just great. But if you're looking for something that is very rewarding, this is a job that you can get into. Now, it's not just being a radio on-air personality also. There's so much other things that are involved in radio that you can get involved in, especially with the production end. There's always going to be a need for commercial radio. And making commercials for all the commercials that are on air is just amazing, just putting them together. Also, there's always going to be people that needed to sell radio airtime. The sales, a lot of my friends that went into sales are doing pretty damn good right now compared to stuff with, they've got big boats and big houses, and I'm happy with what I have. But again, it's been one hell of a career, and I hope to keep going and for many years. I'm at close to 33, 34 years in this business, and I can look back now, standing right here is just a dream. It's a dream knowing that one day I had walked in to a classroom filled with students, had one idiot that said, you're not going to make it. Why would you even try? So next time somebody puts that to you and says, hey, there's no way that you can make it. There's no way. You should just quit. You should just quit now. Think about it. It's what you want to do. This is your life. And I'm glad I made the choices that I did. And I hope that you guys can do the same thing with yours. So I wish you the best of luck in whatever you do. And from my heart itself, thank you for taking the time and listening to my story. And hopefully you'll get to write your own story soon. Thank you.